Welcome to class. This is mental class for senior secondary school students. I hope your day was amazing. Welcome to class. So if you can hear my voice, type 2000 in the comment section. If you can hear my voice, type 2000 in the comment section. Let me know you are in class. If you can hear my voice, type 2000 in the comment section. It's going to be interesting as we move into learning more mental math concepts right now. Fantastic. I can see that Paul Olumati has typed 1000, 2000, showing that he is in class. So, what do we have to learn today? We have learned some concepts in the previous class. We have learned how to multiply by 11. So, we learned multiplying by 11. We also learned fast multiplication, that's multiplying by 22. We have also learned how to divide by 5, dividing by 5. Then we also learned decimals, okay? We learned decimals, right? So let's continue. Let us continue. So right now we'll continue by looking at decimals. Decimal is a topic that cuts across lots of concepts in mathematics, all right? So decimal number is a number that has the decimal point. A decimal number is a number that has a decimal point. So example of decimals are 11.138, 72.82, 0.5, 0.009, 1.32, and so on. So these are examples of decimal numbers. Now, how do we pronounce decimal numbers? Decimal numbers are read like this. Look at the first one, which is 11.138. So listen clearly. You mention the whole number as the normal number because it is a whole number. But for the decimal number, you don't mention it like 138. After the decimal point, you mention the decimal number digits by 138. That is wrong because we don't have 100 as a decimal. We don't have 300 as a decimal. We don't have tens and units as decimal. So that's a function of place value. So the correct way to read this decimal number is 11.138. 11.138. That is the correct way to reading a decimal number. Now let's talk about place value of decimals. The place value of decimals. This is very important because sometimes when you've been asked to do something that has to do with decimal and you can't identify the place value, you may be unable to carry out that operation. So let's look at the place value of decimals. If we have 342.139 or 0.179. Now, 342 is a whole number. So for the whole number, we know that the last digit of a whole number is in the unit place. It's either you call it units or ones. So you call it units or ones. Now, for the digit 4, after the units, we have the tens. And after the tens, we have the hundred. So we have units, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, and so on. Now, after the decimal points, on the right side of the decimal points, we have the decimals. So the first digit here is called the digit in the one decimal place. So this first digit is known as the tenth. Tenth, tenth. All right? It is pronounced as tenth. You can look at the spelling. You would see that it is different from tens, as in the whole number. All right? So here we have tenth. So the second digit in the second place, which is called two decimal places, is known as hundredth. The next one, which is in the third decimal place, is known as thousandth. Thousandth, all right? So after the decimal point, we have the tenth, the hundredth, the thousandth, all right? So which other way can we write 1/10? 1/10 can be written as 1/10 or 0.1. So, and we can also say it's in one decimal place. That digit 1 is in one decimal place. Now, what about 7? 7 is in the hundredth place. Hundredth, all right? The TH ends the hundredth. Now, 7 is in the hundredth place, so we have 7 over 100, all right? Then it can also be written as 0.07. And 700 is in the second decimal place, so we say 2 decimal places. So it's in the second decimal place, and that's 2 decimal places. Now, the digit 9 is in the thousandth place, so it represents thousandth, thousandth. Okay, so that is 9 over 1,000 or 0.009. You can see that my decimal point is in between the numbers, okay? Then it can also be said that the digit 9 is at a 3 decimal place. So we say this number is written correct to 3 decimal places. I hope that is clear. So these are different ways in which you can write decimal numbers. It's either the digit is in one decimal place or in the second decimal place or in the third decimal place. Okay, so I hope that is taken. If you're following me, type 100 in the comment section. If you're following me, type 100 in the comment section. Okay, so that's the place value of decimal. Now let's look at some examples together. Write out the place value of 3 in each of the following. Write out the place value of 3 in each of the following. Now, this is the first one. I have 10.328. We're going to find the place value of 3 in this number. Then the next one, I have 72.039. And the next one, I have 78.043. So in each of these numbers, what is the value of 3? Now, this is the first one. The 3 is in the one decimal place. So we say it is representing tenth. It's in the tenth place. So that is 3 tenths, or 3 over 10, or 0.3. Okay, so the next number says 72.039. What is the place value of 3? You can see that this first place is the tenth, the hundredths, the thousandths. So the place value of 3 is 300th. 300th, or 3 over 100, or 0.03. Okay, now the next one, which is the third one, says 78.043. So what's the place value of 3? Right here, we will have 3,000. Make sure you take note of the spelling of these decimals in words. All right, look at thousandth in decimal ends with th. Hundredth in decimal ends with th. Tenth in decimal ends with th. All right, so or 3 over 1,000, or 0.003. So we have been able to state the place value of this digit in each of the given numbers. Now, there is a place where we are going. We're going somewhere. We are going somewhere and we're going to get there. So make sure you pay attention. So these are called decimal numbers. These are called decimal numbers. We've learned and we've been able to identify what a decimal is. We've been able to learn how to read a decimal. Let me remind you how to read a decimal. Number one, 10.328. 10.328, not 10.328. That is wrong. It is pronounced as 10.328. Number two is pronounced at 72.039, not 72.39. No, 72.039. Number three, 78.043. So you pronounce the digits one after the other after the decimal point. I hope it is clear. Now, moving on. How can we change fractions to decimals? So let's look at changing fractions to decimals. I think we did this recently, changing fractions to decimals. We did this on Monday. Okay, we spoke about some decimal expansion, and I spoke about 1 over 2, that it is known as 0.5. I also said that 1 over 3 is known as 1 over 3 is known as 0.33, repeating. All right, now the next one is 1 over 4, which is known as 0.25. I also made mention of 1 over 5, which is known as 0.2, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be focusing on these decimals, on these fractions: 1 over 2, 1 over 3, 1 over 4, and 1 over 5. Now, there are more things you need to take note. So anytime you see these fractions, you already know what their decimals will be. When you see half, you know it is 0.5. When you see 1/3, you know it is 0.33 repeating. When you see 1/4, that is 1 over 4, you know it is 0.25. When you see 1 over 5, you know it is 0.2. Now, what happens if we have 5 over 2? There are two ways to change this particular number to decimal. Now, 5 over 2 is the same as saying 5 times 1 over 2. It is the same as saying 5 times 1 over 2. And if you're going to have this, you would have 5 times 0.5, because 1 over 2, which is half, is known as 0.5. So what is 5 times 0.5? What is 5 times 0.5? Of course, that will be 2.5. So 5 over 2 to decimal is equal to 2.5. If you're following me, type 9 in the comment section. If you're following me, type 9 in the comment section. Amazing. So let's continue. So let's look at more examples. How can you change 11 over 3 to decimal? How can you change 11 over 3 to decimal? Now let's use the other way. Let's convert 11 over 3 to mixed number. That is 11 divided by 3. How many times will 3 divide 11? That's 3 times. That's 3 whole number. Remainder 2 over 3. 3 whole number, remainder 2 over 3. So now let's keep the 3 whole number aside, plus let's look at the fraction 2 over 3. What does 2 over 3 mean? Now 2 over 3 means 2 times 1/3. So 1/3 is 0.33 repeating. So multiply it by 2 and you're going to have 0.66 repeating. So we have been able to replace the 2 over 3 that we have right here with 0.66. So I will have the whole number 3 plus 0.66, and that will be equal to 3.66. So 11 over 3 changed into decimal number is equal to 3.66. All right, number 3. How do we change 14 over 5 to decimal? 14 over 5, the easiest way to do it is to change it to mixed number. So what is 14 divided by 5? How many times will 5 divide 14? That's 2 times. That's 2 whole number. Remainder 4 over 5. So we have the 2 whole number. Let's keep it aside. So what does 4 over 5 mean? 4 over 5 means 4 times 1 over 5. So that will be 4 times 1 over 5 in decimal means 0.2. So what is 4 times 0.2? That's 0.8. So we've been able to deal with 4 over 5. So it means 4 over 5 is 0.8. So what happens to the whole number 2? That will be 2 plus 0.8, and that's equal to 2.8. Now, the reason I'm showing you the steps is for you to know how to do the calculations in your head, because this is mental math. This is not book math, and this is not paper math. This is not your regular math in school, but it is a way, okay? It is a way that will help you do mathematical calculation as fast as possible. Okay, so we have been able to learn how to change some fractions to decimals. Let's look at one more. What about 7 over 4? That will be one whole number 3 over 4, and that will be equal to 1 plus 3 over 4. Now, another way to write 3 over 4 is 3 times 1 quarter. So what is 1 quarter? That will be 3 times 1 quarter is 0.25. So which will be equal to 0.25 times 3. What is 0.25 times 3? So the answer will be 0.75. So we have to add 0.75 to the whole number 1. Don't forget we have one whole number. So that will be 1 plus 0.75, and that's equal to 1.75. I hope this is very clear. If it is very clear, type 8 in the comment section. Okay, so now moving on. Let's move on. Lots of concepts under decimal, and I really want you to have a grasp of it. Now let's look at changing decimals to fractions. Changing decimals to fractions. This class is for senior secondary students, and I'm expecting to have matured students in the class. So how do we change decimals to fractions? Now, I want everybody to do this. Number one, change 0.004 to fraction. Change 0.004 to fraction. Please type your answer in the comment section. Please type your answer in the comment section. Type your answer in the comment section. Change 0.004 to fraction. Wow. Okay. Awesome. This is awesome. This is amazing, all right? Okay, so let's do it together. All right, only one or two persons, okay, about three, were able to do it. So how do you change a decimal number to fraction? Write the number as a whole number, take out the decimal point. Take out the decimal point. So you're going to have 0004. But when you have zeros all through before the first non-zero digit, you can strike them out, because 0004 is the same as 4. So that will be 4 over, excuse me. So that will be 4 over what? We need to have a denominator. Now, look at after the decimal point. Count the digits that are after the decimal point. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3. You go to the denominator, write 1, 2, 3. So that is 1,000. So that will be 4 over 1,000. Then let's reduce to the lowest term. 4 can divide. 4 divides 4, that's 1. 4 divides 1,000, that is 250. So the final answer is equal to 250. 1 over 250. 1 over 250, that's the lowest term. Now, this is another example. What is 0.058 in fraction? So what you need to do is to write this number as a whole number. It means write it and ignore the decimal. Okay, that's a decimal point. So that will be 0058 over, count the number of digits after the decimal point, 1, 2, 3. That's over 1,000, all right? So all the zeros that are before the numbers, just ignore them, take them out. Because 0058 is the same thing as 58. 002 is the same as 2, all right? So let's reduce the number to the lowest term. So we have 58 divided by 1,000. So let's reduce it to the lowest term. 2 can divide. 2 in 58, that's 29. 2 in 1,000, that is 500. So the final answer is equal to 29 over 500. So this is how to change fractions to decimals. Now, rather, this is how to change decimals to fractions. This is how to change decimals to fractions. Pardon my mistake. This is how to change decimals to fraction. Now let's change 1.2 to fraction. Let us change 1.2 to fraction. Now 1.2 is a decimal. The first thing you need to do is to write the number as a whole number. So 1.2 as a whole number will be 12. You ignore the decimal point. Divided by the denominator. The denominator here is 1. The denominator, that will be the digits after the decimal point. Look at the digits after the decimal point. How many digits do we have? Right here, 1. We have only 1 digit, so you come to the denominator, then write only 1 0. So this is it. So that's 12 over 10. 12 over 10. So let's reduce to the lowest term. Let's reduce to the lowest term. 2 can divide. 12 divided by 2, that's 6. 10 divided by 2, that's 3. Okay? 10 divided by 2, that is 5. Yes. So that's equal to 6 over 5. So this is an improper fraction. So we need to change it to mixed number. So 6 divided by 5, that is one whole number, 1 over 5. One whole number, 1 over 5. Okay, now it is question time. It is question time. We have learned some concepts under decimal right now, and I'm ready to test your knowledge if you paid attention or if you have learned. Now, going through everything we have discussed tonight, let's see. We discussed about our past concepts, multiplying by 11, multiplying by 22, and also dividing by 5. And today we have added the decimal. Okay, so we said decimal is any number that has decimal point. 1.4, 32.8, 769.555, and so on. So as long as these numbers have points, they are called decimal numbers. Now, we also spoke about reading of decimal numbers, like the first one here is 11.138, 72.82, 0.5, 0.009, 1.32. So that's how to read a decimal number. Now, moving on to changing the place value or writing out the place value of a decimal, you have learned that it is not read as a whole number, okay? It is read digit by digit. So you can see that we have 342.179. So we need to write out the place value of this decimal, okay? The first one is the tenth, the next one is the hundredth, and the third decimal place number is the thousand. And we have also learned how to write them in other ways. So we've learned change fractions to decimals and also how to change decimals to fractions. So it is overall question time. Question time, it is stars time. Now, the first one, what is the place value? What is the place value of 8 in 4.081? Type your answer in the comment section. I'm waiting for the answer to this question in the comment section. This question attracts 3 stars. So what is the answer? What is the value of 8 in 4.081? I'm expecting Victory Ogushakin to give me a response. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for the person. Thank you to the person who answered it fast. So the place value of 8 in 4.081 is 800. It is 800 or 8 over 100 or 0.08. Now look at the next one. So what is the place value of 7 in 0.709? What is the place value of 7? Please type your answer in the comment section now. What is the place value of 7 in 0.709? Okay, I'm seeing lots of correct answers. Fantastic. So the correct answer is, let's write it as 0.709. And the place value of 7 is 7/10 or 7 over 10 or 0.7. Amazing. So if the answer to number 1 and number 2 are correct, give yourself 3 stars for each. You got the correct answer to number 1, you have 3 stars. If you got the answer to number 2, you have 3 stars. So that has to do with the place value of decimals. The place value of decimals. So let's see the next concept. So right now is decimal expansion, how to change fractions to decimals. Now get ready for my next question. We're going to change fractions to decimals based on what you were taught. Now change change 16/3 to decimal. Change 16/3 to decimal. What is the correct answer? What is the correct answer? Yeah, Queen Oluchi. Thanks for answering question fast. Okay, so let's do it together. 16/3 converted to decimal. Change it to an improper fraction first. 16 divided by 3. 16 divided by 3, that will give you 5 whole number, because you can divide 16 by 3 and you will get 5. But there is a remainder. The remainder is 1, then over the denominator. So this means 5 plus 1/3. So we have learned that 1/3 is 0.33 repeating. So that will be 5 plus 0.33 repeating, and that's equal to 5.33 up to infinity. So 16/3 to decimal is equal to 5.33 up to infinity. Now the next question. Change 19/5 to decimal. Change 19/5 to decimal. Everybody, change 19/5 to decimal. Please type your answer in the comment section. I can see that only few people are active. Type your answer in the comment section. Change 19/5 to decimal. Okay, so I have 3.8 given as the answer. So let's do it together. So don't forget to give yourself 3 stars for number 3 if you got number 3 right. Now, 19/5 to decimal, which means we'll be dividing 19 by 5. 19 divided by 5 is 3 whole number. That's 15. Okay, 15, 5 will go into 19 3 times. Then we'll be left with 4 over the denominator, which is 5. So in essence, this means 3.4/5. And that's equal to, what is 4/5? 4/5 means 4 times 1/5. And 1/5 in decimal expansion is 0.2. So 4 times 0.2, that's equal to 0.8. So in essence, don't forget that we have the 3 whole number right here plus 4 over 5. The 4 over 5 that we got is 0.8. So that will be plus 0.8. And the answer is equal to 3.8. If you got the answer right, give yourself 3 stars. Now, the next question will be based on changing decimals to fractions. So now change 0.00 fraction in its lowest term. Change 0.008 to fraction in its lowest term. I'm waiting for the answer in the comment section. Change 0.008 to fraction in its lowest term. Okay, we're waiting for the student who wants to tell us that, yes, I understand. Amazing. Jay, thank you for typing your answer fast. So I want one more student correct. Okay, now I have Queen Oluchi, I have Paul Olumati. Okay, let's do it together and let's see if you are correct. 0.008 to fraction. Now write this number as a whole number without the decimal point. That will be 008 over. After the decimal point, we have 3 digits. So that will be 1, 2, 3. So in essence, take out the zeros before 8. So that's equal to 8 over 1,000. So let's reduce to the lowest term. 4 can divide 8, we have 2. 4 can divide 1,000, we have 250. Then 2 can still divide. 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 150 is 125. So 0.008 to fraction and 25. So if that was what you typed, give yourself 3 stars. If that was what you typed, give yourself 3 stars. Now let's move on to solving another question. Change 3.08 to fraction in its lowest term. Change 3.08 to fraction in its lowest term. Let me see your answer in the comment section. Yes, we are waiting for the students who will type the answer fast. Change 3.08 to fraction in its lowest term. Amazing. Your lowest term can be mixed number. So make sure you change to mixed number. Your lowest term can be mixed number, all right? At 3.08. So you can ignore the decimal points and write it. So the digits after the decimal points will and 2. So that is 1 and 2. So that's over 100. Now let's reduce 308 over 100 to the lowest term. So 4 can divide. Let's divide by 4. Let's see. 4 goes into 30. That's 7 because it's 28. Remainder 2. And 2 beside 8 right here will be 28. So 28 divided by 4, that's another 7. So I have 77 over, then 100 divided by 4, that is 25. Now, what is 77 divided by 25? That will be 3 whole number because 25 times 3 is 75. 3 whole number, 2 over 25. So this is the correct answer. So this is how to change 3.08 to fraction to the lowest term. So I hope you learned. If you have learned something amazing right now, type 7 in the comment section. If you have learned, type 7 in the comment section. By now, I believe most of you should have accumulated either 15 stars or 18 stars. For each question that was answered, you have 3 stars if you answer the question correctly. Now, if all the questions you answered are correct, which means you'll be having 18 stars for this section of questions. I hope you enjoy this class. I will see you in another class and some other time. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Goodbye.